What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to R3 Garage. Welcome to R3 Garage. If y'all tune in, I hope y'all consider subscribing, like the video, show your friends, family, or whoever. On today, we're going to be looking at this article right here. GM slowed down, triggers layoffs wave at Ionic American Auto Parts Maker. If y'all haven't heard, GM is going to be cutting 700 General Motor workers, temporary layoffs. And they do have a long-time supplier, which is Tenneco. They also are eliminating 349 people across the state. Now, the reason why this decision is being made is because the electric vehicles in this segment and all that are at a stagnant still. You know, the consumers, a lot of people are not buying these cars, so the demand is not high, and when the demand is not high, your supply and all that's going to be stagnant. So at some point they're going to have to meet. Now, this could play a lot of things, could play a key role onto like the consumer decision on trying to purchase an EV, the pricing of the vehicle, the range of the vehicle, also the company, reliability also could be based on the consumer decision when trying to purchase these EVs. Now, this is happening in Spring Hill, Tennessee, at a plant. So with this happening, this is like a chain reaction, which is going to hurt some Tenneco employees because they have to eliminate some people too, being that they're not having to supply a lot. They had to make some cuts and all that. So this is Tenneco right here, this company right here. It was known as a gas and transmission company, as it says right here, was founded in 1940. And I'm not going to dig too deep in that. But all I know, they do suspension parts, I believe. Suspension. Let me see what they do over here. It says the company is dominant in emissions control systems and suspension parts. And they was like a key supplier for the Detroit's big three automakers, which is General Motors, Ford, and I believe you do have Chrysler and all that under that umbrella. But anyway, it said at the heart of the crisis is GM decision to temporarily pause the production of its Cadillac, Lyriq, and vistiq models at Spring Hill. The cuts began in December later this year and are expected to last through May 26th. So they're going to pause production and all that. And these are the vehicles right here that I believe they do, which is right here. I'm talking about, I believe what they do. That Volvo hard though. As you can see, you got this right here. The Cadillac's hard, I ain't gonna lie. But the demand for them are not high. It's just not, especially with the EVs, especially from GM and Ford, Tesla and all that. You know, they, iffy and all that. Same with other companies that got like a good reputation and all that. But Tesla, I feel like that's all gonna be on. It's on top. Also, I want to mention it is September 21st, so September 30th. If y'all haven't heard, I got it written down right here. Say the EV federal tax credit is going to be stopped. Now, it was supposed to be been stopped in like 2032, but they are doing it this year and all that. So I feel like that is also part of the issue too, because if y'all don't know, that giving like the American consumer a benefit, if you believe it or not, because you can put down on your credit. I mean, not your credit. You can put down your tax as a deductible. And I know you have to meet certain requirements depending on the value of the car. The value of the car, the age, and I believe like where it's made from, like the batteries or whatever. But anyway, I know you had to meet like certain requirements in order to be approved for that. But that was a benefit for American consumers to go from gasoline to electric cars. That was like some way to convince and to get more people into buying electric cars and all that, just with that one benefit, based off what I have seen and known. Say Spring Hill faces a unique 1-2 punch. GM is cutting 700 assembly line jobs on a temporary basis, leaving hundreds of families uncertain about their return date. At the same time, Tenneco is slashing 82 positions in its Spring Hill facility and an extraordinary 41% of its local workforce. That is crazy. It's so crazy how these automaker companies or, parts companies that provide things for the automakers that's in the area that provide jobs, if something go dramatic crazy, is gonna devastate the community that is in and all that. Like we seen it time and time, like in Detroit. We yeah, in Detroit with the car factories and all that. I say Virginia with the mining the mining companies, during that time and all that. I seen where towns and all that went downhill once everything had got dried up, slowed up, and yeah, it's just like it's always something, but it's so sketchy to be in like these auto um manufactured places, especially if you're making it out of career. It's pretty sketchy and all that because you never know when you can lose your job and all that based off the economic crisis, the demand for the consumer from the consumers, and the company decisions and all that. So it could be really sketchy, and for them to have deposit is crazy. So workers, like I said, they are very uncertain about this time. And then they got their mayor that's speaking about the economic issue that they got going on in the community. Mind y'all, with this happening, it could affect the community. It could affect other smaller businesses in that community that usually probably get the customers that works for them factories that normally would come in. But if they not there no more, then how in the world they gonna stay providing and all that. As you can see, federal policy shifts. So the main trigger, like I said, is that federal EV tax credit worth up to 7,500 per vehicle expires on September 30th. At the same time, penalties of for fuel efficiency shortfalls were erased, further discouraging the aggressive EV output. With that happening, man, they gonna have to whoa, wait, hold up, we gonna have to stop. So I feel like that federal EV tax is also playing a key role. I believe it was under that Big Beautiful Act that Trump signed back in July. If I'm not mistaken, I gotta go back just to make sure. But if I'm wrong, don't quote me on that. That's why. And also, the car got to be like 100% made if you want to reap the benefits of that federal EV tax credit. You got to have like a certain amount of percentage. Like it says, it's certain requirements that you got to have. But I think that was pretty cool to give a consumer who was considering an electric vehicle like a tax break or whatever. That was pretty cool and all. But being that that's going away, that's not I don't know. It's gonna make other people reconsider and all. So Tenneco, like I said, they provided parts for GM and all. So being that GM had to slow their production down, Tenneco they gotta make some changes too, because they supplying the parts now. If the car's not getting out, I mean the supply and all that is gonna have to be stagnant too. They got to consider the cost and all that. They got to look at the market and all that. But stuff like this always, it's pretty interesting. But it's just how it is and all that. It's just how it is. Anyway, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. And I'm glad the leaders of Spring Hill, Tennessee, is going to do something about it. Say Spring Hill leaders are rallying resources to soften the blow. Emergency assistance funds, job replacement programs, and partnerships with nonprofits aim to help families cover immediate need Like household food, healthcare, churches, civic organizations are stepping in to provide emotional and financial support. Usually this don't happen. Usually the whole community and all that will go down and stuff. But being that they are actually taking action just to give other people like some secondary source of income and all that, that's pretty good. But like I said, it's crazy how these automotive companies, man, they come in these areas and they could just destroy communities and all that based off what I have seen over the time and all. Just like big box stores and all that, they come providing jobs and all that, and then they leave, and then everybody don't have the usually the proper income and all that to come in and all. Now, with these places coming in, it does provide jobs in the area, bring more people. And I'm seeing it in my area and all that, where they've been putting like a plant, other jobs and all that. Like it's bringing a lot of jobs and all that. Now, if everything closed down, I don't know what people would do. You know. But anyway, the people who work for this Tenneco company, and I think they're doing something in Georgia, like cutting some people and all that. But I'm just skimming through. If y'all want to look at this on your own, y'all can. It is feed.ruckusfactory.com. GM slowdown triggers layoffs wave at Ionic American Auto Parts Maker. And I believe they just provided like suspension parts and all that for the vehicle. So it's just demand and supply. That's how I'm looking at in this situation. A lot of consumers are not considering EVs, but that's where they trying to aim it at and all that. And I feel like the EV is going to eventually get popular more, and it's going to be a consumer choice more. It's just got to make sense to the consumer. So I feel like GM, they just need to stick to hybrids and all that. They should just stick with the hybrids, make them better than electric vehicles. And I think that's pretty much it. That's only giving my 2 cents. I'm not digging too deep in. I just seen it. I was like, let me just talk about it off the back and just go from there. But anyway, if y'all have any extra input, drop it down below. Let me know y'all thoughts down below. And man, it's kind of crazy because I was thinking about, Ford, they was cutting people from a factory in Germany that made electric vehicles and all that. And like I said, it's just off the consumers, like the demand and all that. You gotta think about it. If a lot of people want all these electric vehicles, if it's like super high, the companies and all that, they're gonna continue producing more because that's what the consumers want. But in America, they're not giving what the people actually want and all that. People want these V8s and all that in these cars. That's all they care about. I feel like they throw a V8 in this thing right here. They put a V8 in here, a supercharged V8, some stuff or something in here. Oh yeah, they gonna sell pretty alright. They gonna sell pretty alright. Believe it or not, they gonna sell alright. Anyway, I'm gonna get this video out, and that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, I see y'all. Be safe. I wonder if there's anything else I gotta talk about. Probably not. But anyway, that's gonna be pretty much it. I see y'all. Peace.